This video is brought to you by Nokian Tires, a leader in safety and sustainability. Maximize performance and efficiency with their made in USA all-season tires and their dedicated Hakkapeliitta EV winter line from the inventor of the winter tire. Learn more at nokiantires.com/EV.
Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You join me at a very famous charging station, the Baker Tesla Supercharger and the Baker Electrify America charger. Now that is the flagship Electrify America charger in the country when it went in, and I believe it still is today. It has some cool things going on. They have a Tesla Megapack. They've upgraded all to the new DC fast chargers that they've been using, and they have solar. So we should definitely go take a look at that. I've charged there many times. Here is a Tesla supercharger. It's a 40 stall supercharger right off of I-15 between LA and Las Vegas, and it's baking out here. It's 112 degrees Fahrenheit right now. I don't know what that is in Celsius, but a big number. It's hot as hell. It's also really windy. But in this video, Baker is getting a huge expansion, and they've just installed a Tesla Semi Megacharger, the first time I've been able to get up close with one. So in this video, I'm going to take you on a tour of the entire site, the battery pack storage, which is incredible, and of course, we're going to take a look at the Megacharger for the first time.
Thank you to Factor for sponsoring this out of spec video. Guys, you know we're always on the go, eating pretty unhealthy, out at restaurants often. That was the case until Factor actually came around to sponsor Out of Spec, and I love promoting stuff that I do use and truly enjoy. This is one of them. So Factor reached out, sent us a whole bunch of food, and I was like, this is the coolest thing. By the way, super eco-friendly packaging, carbon neutral company as well, which is pretty cool. And they have these crazy high quality, very tasty meals ready to go in just 2 minutes, never frozen. This one's a mushroom marsala. They also have another one here. Let's see what this one is, a Creole shrimp, just to show you right here, looking absolutely delicious. They do more than just food as well. They have smoothies. This is the strawberry banana, my personal favorite, truly love it. So highly recommend that you head to factor75.com, use the discount code OUTOFSPEC50, where you'll get 50% off your first Factor box. Thanks to them for sponsoring this video. Truly, I'm a huge fan.
So if you actually pan around, Colton is with me behind the camera. Colton, what the hell is going on here?
I don't know. This is a wild station here. My first time ever here. And
Yes.
This is insane.
Truly insane. And our friend Andreas just was here randomly charging. He's been in some videos and has hung out with us a bunch. But let's go over to the Electrify America side first. And then if you just peep over this way, you'll see that Megacharger just over there. So we definitely will go take a look at that. But we got to be quick because our phone is going to literally overheat.
Yeah.
There's a huge expansion going on. It's just wild. By the way, someone bought a Lexus RZ. How about that?
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Not bad, does it? I mean, what's interesting about the Lexus RZ, my understanding is they took the front wheel drive BZ4X battery that charges at 150 kilowatts and then put it with the all wheel drive drivetrain. So it's not as bad as BZ4X all wheel drive. But anyway, here you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 DC fast charging locations. They are load shared, and it just shows you the disparity between EA and Tesla. This was the big, bad, flagship location. And truly, it's a beautiful charging location. Under canopy, we get all the cool shots. Mustang Mach-E GT press photos were done here. Like, it's a beautiful spot. But then you got 40 Tesla superchargers.
Big difference there.
So when this site originally went in, I was talking to some guys at Electrify America about this years ago. They were hugely limited on the amount of power they could bring in. And so a lot of them were 150 kilowatt chargers. Actually, I believe they were limited to 50 kilowatts originally. And there was one 150 kilowatt station. And then, of course, they were like, hey, we got the new chargers coming out. This is maybe a year ago. We really want to upgrade the Baker site. And I remember the first road trip where I got to come here where they put in these new, ETAL design dispensers that can go up to, 350 kilowatts or so, all load shared. They chose BTC for this particular location. When they put these in, they needed more power. So obviously they were under the understanding, this is just the rumor how it went, that they couldn't get any more power to this location. Tesla had 40 stalls. They were stuck here, you know, limited, just trying to get the excess energy. And then they said, let's go to Tesla and put in a mega pack giant battery. I think it's 1 megawatt hour. So come back here, I'll show you over here. It's pretty insane. So you have your big transformer here. You have battery energy storage all down this way, which is just epic. You can see the giant Tesla battery right here. Absolutely insane. You can see main breakers located in here, just switchgear, power electronics, absolutely wild. I've been wanting to make a video here for so long. But as the story goes, when they were putting in this mega pack, my understanding was Baker, or whoever provides the electricity, was like, oh, you can have all the power you want. Like, this isn't a problem. But then they just spent all this money on this 1 megawatt hour battery pack. Now, a lot of Electrify America stations have Tesla batteries at them. I think over 200 have them. Have you ever seen one, Colton?
No, this is my first time.
A lot of them are just behind the little, you know, bollards, or, you know, this little cage that they put all the chargers in. But yeah, pretty incredible. And I love that they went so hardcore with it. So Electrify America, powered by Tesla. And it is a wonderful install, truly. If you're thinking about battery integrated with DC charging in a hot environment like this, it makes so much sense. You can see some Tesla switchgear here. Here's the inverter. This thing's screaming along, so the battery's being used right now to shave peak demand. Epically loud. Here you can see the BTC power converters. I just have something on my shirt. So basically, these are the actual chargers. You can see power unit 1 that feed the dispensers over there. So makes sense. We're all pretty familiar with that. And so this is part of their Gen 4, Gen 3 Electrify America stations that can do 1 cabinet to 2 posts, and they do dynamic power sharing. What Tesla does is way more next level than any of that. It's pretty crazy. So this is old version 2 right here, maximum 150 kilowatts that are split between 2 cars. For example, here's Colton's car. You're charging on stall 20B, sir. That's
Okay.
just crazy. And then they were like, let's double it.
Yeah, this is nuts out here.
So I've been coming here quite a bit on the trips because I just love the site. I usually use this Electrify America charging station because I haven't been road tripping my Tesla very often. And I always come here, I'm like, wow, that's a massive site, but it's busy. I'm like, how many Teslas are there out here? And there are a ton. And you can see all the version 2 cabinets over on this side. We'll go take a look at in a second. And those, again, are just screaming red hot. It's 100 and something degrees out here, pegged at max. And Tesla did the right thing, and they are pretty much doubling this entire installation. So I'm trying to think. They have 4, 8, 12 on this side going in. These are all version 3 chargers. Now, the way version 3 supercharging works, just so you guys know, is these are prefabricated supercharger units, PSUs, along this line. And it's fascinating. They actually come built with the concrete from the Buffalo Gigafactory. They're shipped on pallets, basically just as that strip of concrete, and then they link the chargers together through a DC bus. And that's what's running right here through this little metal cabinet. And what's fascinating is each one of these supercharging cabinets can output only about 360 kilowatts or so. It's really not much, especially when you consider Model 3, Model S, all of them peak at 250, 260 kilowatts. But keep in mind, not every electric car is running at its maximum power all the time, especially not Teslas. Teslas have a big peak, but they don't hold it very long, maybe to 25, 35%, and then they fall off. So what they do is, let's say we plugged in 4 Teslas here, dead on this cabinet 1. This is going to be, 1A, B, C, D as an example. It would actually take the power from that cabinet and that cabinet down there and shuffle the power over to this one. They can handle 575 kilowatts of input power. So now you have almost a megawatt power output capability just by shuffling your site demand, your site conversion capability over to where the cars are. Now, there is a maximum link as to how many V3 superchargers you can link. I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe 8 of them, something like that. And then you'll have different quadrants that can do the same thing. But this is fascinating. So you have 12 superchargers here. You have 4, 8, 12, 16 in the center. And then you have 4, 8, 12, 16 along the back and side with another 4, another 20, another 24. So I don't know how many they have here. Andreas, could you count how many they have going in?
I guess it's 40.
40?
Maybe it's just double it because on the map it says 40 stalls, right?
Right, so 40 V2s, maybe 40 V3s.
Yeah.
I think roughly we could go for it. Yeah. And if any of you know the exact number, I don't really feel like counting in this heat.
Trying to figure out kilowatts of things. Yeah. So
The solar, yeah, it's got to be 50, 60 kilowatts, maybe more. Definitely not enough to really make a big difference, but enough to shade and generate some electricity. If you look up here, beautiful solar panels and canopy install here. This is the way charging should be. Everything should be under solar. Why not? I mean, it's expensive, requires extra permitting time, but Tesla is just, they are legendary when it comes to building these superchargers. They can build them cheaper than anyone. They're more reliable than pretty much anyone in my experience. And they rip no matter what. Even the old V2s screaming along. Anyway, you're not here to see V3s. I did just want to show you this site though. And Colton, as we walk over to the Megacharger, do you have any thoughts on this? You've never been to a supercharger this crazy.
No. I had my first crazy experience yesterday in Vegas at the Link, the high roller one, which was mayhem.
Right.
It was, I don't remember what that one was, a 24 station with a bunch of level 2s,
Yeah.
10 cars waiting.
Right, they have all the level 2s
Oh
on it.
my
I remember when that site went in and I was like, this is overkill. I
Yeah.
could not imagine this many people needing to charge.
Yeah.
And now you just sat in line there.
It was insane. Yeah, really wild.
Just crazy. And so, yeah, you can see another bank of superchargers back here. Actually, interestingly, we haven't been back here yet. There's some level 2 stations here that are J1772. So watch your step traversing this trench. Yeah, so we have the Gen 2 wall connector with J1772. That's a rare thing because they now offer the Gen 3 with J1772, I believe. And this one's not commissioned yet. They're not on. And then you have, yeah, all of these down here. They have an ADA space. They got one all the way on the end. So like all of these that are uncovered, we tried them. They're still not commissioned. They're not on. But this is a huge freaking install. Before we get to the semi-charger, I just want to walk back here. That it caught my eye. I want to show this to you guys. We have some transformers and some other high voltage switchgear back here. But look at that. 2 megapacks. And you can see they even have like a little roof on them and even some concrete posts maybe to add another megapack or maybe to add more capacity. So anyway, that's epic. So Tesla can do some really cool load management situations. I love this stuff. If you guys love this stuff, comment, because I want to do more charging station reviews. I'm always on the hunt for the coolest charging stations, and this has to be one of them. The problem with version 3 supercharging is there are 2 issues. The first is the power conversion capability. I mentioned only 350 kilowatts or so, 360 kilowatts per cabinet. And when you start getting a full site like this, it's fine for Tesla. It's like perfectly optimized for Tesla charging curves. But as soon as Rivians start charging here, as soon as, I don't know what else is coming here, F-150 Lightnings with big batteries, Hummer EVs, huge batteries. These things are not just going to hold peak for a quick period of time. They're just going to rip full speed all the way through. So I think there's some solutions Tesla could do to up the conversion capability of the site. And the easiest thing for them to do would just be to add more cabinets. You know, one cabinet doesn't need to feed 4. One cabinet can feed 2. And they can just add more and put it into the system and shift power around. So I think that's probably what we're going to see if we start seeing these D rates at version 3s. Our friend Brandon Tesla Flex today was on a road trip and noticed as soon as a Model X unplugged next to him, his charging shot up. So he was maxed out even just with Tesla at that station. So I think, especially with cars that hold higher power for longer, we need more rectifying power at the sites. And it's just as easy as Tesla slapping in another charger that's not necessarily linked to any dispenser, but can just go into the system and shift more power through. So I hope we see that. The second and most important thing is we've yet to see an automaker join NACS or switch to NACS that has a high voltage car on offering. The closest one would be Hummer EV, Silverado EV with GM. However, they can just not basically put their packs into series. They can just keep them in parallel for charging and still get 250 kilowatts. So what we really need is 1,000 volt capability. So if you come over here with the camera and just zoom in on that nameplate here, I'll kind of point out what I'm talking about. So one thing that's interesting is between the cabinets, let me just see where I can find all of this here. Right here, you can see this DC input output. This is on the bus. This is the link between each supercharging cabinet. You can see input power, 575 kilowatts. And we know sometimes Tesla goes over that. But the chargers themselves are actually operating at 880 to 1,000 volts. So the cabinets support 1,000 volt between each other. But if you come back over here and look here, you'll see the DC output is only up to 500 volts, 250 kilowatt to each post. So I think it's just going to be a quick reconfiguration change, perhaps upgrading the NACS connectors to the 1,000 volt capable one, because NACS should be rated for 1,000 volts, 1,000 amps, according to Tesla. And then we should be good. So I'm hoping it's just a configuration change of V3 to support 1,000 volts. Now, what doesn't have me super confident in that 100% anymore is we haven't seen any automaker with, high voltage car announce a switch yet. So my fingers are crossed that my guesstimation that they can upgrade these V3s to 1,000 volt output would be, is true and can happen, because they're already operating on 1,000 volt DC line. They just need to output that to the dispenser. Couple little contactors here, put the chargers into, parallel versus series, very similar to Hummer EV battery pack. You can build up the voltage with your rectification power and out to the car. So that would be my hope. And if we look at the next generation Tesla charger, it is 1,000 volt output. So just over here, for the first time, looking identical to a version 3 cabinet. Again, watch your step here. I believe personally that this is a custom adaptation of the Megacharger. But let's just talk about this dispenser. I'm 6'1". Wow. Now, granted, that's on a post. So here, now I'm standing on the post. It's still taller than me if I stand up next to this thing. So this is just epic. Huge. Now, this is not to charge version 4 charging. This is for the Tesla Semi. And yesterday, they were charging the Semi here. I can't believe we missed it. That would have been so epic. Don't you think, Colton?
Yeah, that would have been insane. I saw the photos on Twitter and I'm like, man, I wish we would have been there.
Would have been so great. So let's look at actually what's going on here for this particular mobile DC fast charger, if you will. You can see the forklift points right here, so it can lift as a pallet. Fantastic. And let's just talk about what's going on. So we have our input lines from the grid, which I'll show you over there. These are the same input lines they used to charge the Tesla Semi trailer with the battery pack on it. And that trailer with the battery pack had like 8 or 12 version 3 or version 2 superchargers. I can't remember, but it was basically a mega pack with a whole bunch of superchargers around it, and it burned down right here. And this is how they used to charge it. So they used that existing connection into this right here. And they're using Lincoln Electric switchgear. We love those guys, they rock. Switchgear is one of the biggest things holding up electric vehicle adoption, and Lincoln makes the best EV specific switchgear on the market, in my opinion. So they actually give you like instructions on how to turn off the breaker, how to open up the cabinet. You can see it's fed from a switchboard inside a building, semi-charger, breaker. So cool, all of this stuff. So this is input 480, 277, of course, 800 amps into this. And then it gets converted, of course, into the charger over here. But you have some other things going on right here, actually. So if you look, you can see kVA 410, essentially 400 kilowatts right here on the transformer side of things. Yep, so you have your primary voltage, your secondary voltage. So it basically converts to 360 to 208 versus 480 input. Super cool. This thing weighs 3,700 pounds, just epic. And so, yep, so you got your switchgear, your transformer, and then your AC to DC charger. This is what they're using to charge the Tesla Semi. What I don't know is if this is the version 4 supercharger. It's definitely not what they were quoting for the Semi charger. Again, mobile unit. This is not a 1 megawatt cabinet. According to this right here, this is a 375 kilowatt cabinet. So up from, roughly the 360 over there, 375. That's your DC output to this. But it's also saying, let's just see really here, AC input is 650 amps at 317 to 396 volts. And then your DC output's 375 kilowatts. Most importantly, if you look just over here, DC output range 1,000 volts. Now this particular one, it's the charger as a 406 kVA, so it's technically a 400 kilowatt charger is how they've branded it. This one was made a year ago, March 2022, date of manufacture. And so I don't know if this was just made specifically for this install or if this is an indication of what version 4 cabinets might be like. We don't see any power sharing capabilities, input voltage, DC, we don't see any of that. So I think this is just like a one-off charger for the Semi in its testing phase. And this thing looks like it's been through hell and back. I mean, tape all over the place. If you come along the backside, you'll just see, I don't want to damage anything, but you'll just see wires everywhere. It's so funny. And it's huge and tall. So now let's talk about the cable, because this is what confirmed they're using to charge the Tesla Semi. The handle itself, really nice, immersion cooled cable is what it feels like to me. This is basically MCS version 2. You know, the megawatt charging standard, the big triangle thing, that's MCS version 3. And the Semi wasn't done before MCS 3 came out. So Tesla pretty much used and adapted a previous version of megawatt charging standard, developed in partnership with Charin actually, and this is what it looks like. So you have your big DC couplings, your communications on the pins down here, pretty freaking epic, juicy contactors in there. It even has the little button right here to open up the charge port, which is pretty cool. And it's just, for the amount of power that they're expecting this thing to do, and this immersion cooling tech that we know version 4 will have, it's just so light, so nimble, easy to move around. I mean, just next level. This is, you know, a cable that once semi-truck comes out can do probably around a megawatt worth of power. This cable probably could handle. It would be lighter than a 360 kilowatt EA, Hebrew cable over there. Pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's wild.
So that is the Megacharger. Now, if only the semi-truck was here. The way they did it yesterday was they pulled the semi-truck over. You can actually see the dually tire tracks right here. I'm standing on them. And you can see when it made the turn, it pretty much moved the pavement with it.
Doing skids.
And they basically pulled it alongside, pulled the cable over, and plugged it into the semi-truck here. So that's the charger for the Semi. First time I've ever seen this one. I have to say though, like if we're going to review version 3 post versus version 4 post, because I think this is the same chassis of the dispenser as version 4, I don't think it looks as good.
It looks very plain, I guess.
Yeah, I thought they would do something a little bit cooler with it.
Yeah, very black and white versus, red and white and light up. I would assume the Tesla lights up there.
No, it's a sticker.
Ah, boring.
Yeah, so I don't know if it has a light around the outside on the production ones. I don't think I've seen that in Europe at all. So I'm not sure what they're going to do for lighting and all of these things. But Andreas, you want to share your quick impression of this site and the semi-charger? You can just hold that close.
Sure. So if I have to summarize it in one sentence, this site is the future of transportation. I would say sustainable transport. California gets it, This is what we need. We need fast charging across Europe, across North America, everywhere. And I just looked up, actually, they got permitted for an additional 56 stalls here. So this is going to be a 96 fast charger supercharger location if they build all of them, yeah. Couldn't find info on the solar panels, but comment down below if you find some info. And yeah, come out here. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty hot though.
Yeah,
So hot.
We are sweating out here. Thank you, Andreas. And well, there you go. That's a tour of the new Baker expansion. So many of these going on in California. There's a huge one in Barstow just down the road. Kettleman City, I heard, was getting an upgrade as well from their initial 50, which I was just like, you never need that many. And now it's like, I just tweeted, we need 500 in Las Vegas.
Oh, it's
it's 100 here in the middle of the desert. You need 500 in Vegas. So there we go. Me, Colton, Andreas, baking in the heat to bring YouTube content to you guys. Epic day. Finally seeing a version 4, or in this case, a mega charger for the first time. Very interesting solution. Curious to see what the next generation cabinets look like. Curious to see that card reader on the side of version 4 dispenser. So many questions still left unanswered. 2 things we want from Tesla: more rectifying power, especially as other EVs join version 3, and 1,000 volt support. Please we know this thing can do it, so it's already on their minds and they know the situation. Okay guys, just before we end the video, I want to show you how the grid connection is gone right here into the switchgear. So they run it underneath this little bumper. These version 2 chargers are screaming along. They are just sending it, all of them, because there's so many Teslas here running just at full blast. And you can see so many cars, some extra switchgear over here, a little, maybe actually battery storage perhaps right there could be. But this is how the semi Megacharger is gone. You can see it's called Megacharger South, and it used to be called semi battery storage or something like that. The supercharging Megacharger charger, if you will. And yeah, just look at that. You have your AC disconnects for your solar on this side. They use Huawei inverter stuff. So wild, so epic. Just an insane location here. Total of almost 100 stalls from Tesla and then another 12 from EA. Combined, you can charge over 100 electric cars in one spot. All DC charging. That's next freaking level. I love it. So sick. Can't wait to charge on a version 4 one day soon. See you later.